For me, it's been a 6-month punch to the face. We were working with startups and we started to realize that, holy crap, this playbook was no longer working.
6 months ago, people started implementing it, and now people are starting to talk about the results.
Account research is now the full-blown table stakes.
There's like this shift that you sort of break through. I started my journey building these AI agents that were my personas by going, hey, I want to build AI agents that mimic my persona. I might as well just ask it how to do it, ask it what does it need from me in order to do this type of work. And that was my big breakthrough.
You have to mix practical with shock and awe, but you got to show people the possibilities, man. A couple lead-ins. One is I'm coming in hot from the parking lot of a hotel across from Great America in Santa Clara, an amusement park where I am allegedly a chaperone.
Oh, tight. I'm glad you're taking your responsibilities seriously.
I just looked around. I don't know why I looked around. No, I'm not. No, I told them I could only drive because I had some other calls. And then, and so as one thing I just want to mention, Matt, is have you ever been to Puesto? It's in the mall. It's like it's in the Whole Foods mall, like across 101 from Great America.
It's called what?
Puesto.
Yeah, I can't tell if your like video is breaking up when you say it or if what you're saying is actually Puesto.
It is Puesto.
Like pesto with a W?
Or like
man, what the
child with a speech impediment? I'm lost.
Puesto. Puesto.
Por supuesto.
Anyway, they have real chicharrones where the thing comes out and it's crackling.
Yeah.
Man, it is all time. So there's your fun fact.
From ABM to PLG, from medic to medpic, the world of business is constantly evolving. We'll cover the who, what, where, when, why, and most importantly, how you get the transaction. I'm Matt Amundson, and he's Craig Rosenberg. Let's get started.
Today, what Matt and I were hoping to do was just talk about some of the things that we've been learning and seeing, right? And not just from our guests, but from our travels around. And so it's a new show type for us, and we're really excited. So there's no guest. We might let Sam talk.
Don't let him talk.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that memo. Hold on, let me see. Is it in the chat? No. But we thought we'd talk go to market. And frankly, Matt, I would say this. That is par for the course. So I'll lead, because when we tried to do this like 8 months ago, it just didn't feel great, right? And it was like 10 months ago maybe. But now like the actual premise of the transaction, which is that the old playbooks are broken and there's a new way to go to market, is real. And
yeah, for sure.
Right. And so there's a lot, like we're learning, so just so everyone knows, I know we've said it a bunch of times, but we started the transaction because Matt and I were working together and we were working with startups, and we started to realize that, holy crap, like the stuff that we'd seen work for, call it 12 years. And there was peaks and valleys there, but generally speaking, if you ran this playbook, was no longer working. And so we wanted to explore the new one. But I think the first reaction from the market was more of the same, or execution issues on the same. And now,
or just volume. Go to more volume. Turn up the volume.
Yeah, turn up the volume. And now the game has literally, and I was calling it 9 months, but for me, it's been a 6-month like punch to the face. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think your 9 months is accurate. Your 9 and 6 months are both accurate. I would say 9 months ago, people started talking about it, and they were like, uh-oh, like, we got to do something. And the best you could really get out of people was like, well, I'm thinking of doing this. I'm hearing this, and I'm thinking about doing this, and I'm excited about this. 6 months ago, people started implementing it, and now people are starting to talk about the results. So things are evolving at such a fast clip that like the idea of making a shift turned into execution pretty fast, and now people are actually saying, well, this is what I built and this is what I'm getting out of it.
Right. So I'll give you a couple examples for the audience. So first, I'll lead with the Scale Go to Market Summit was in April,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
it's something that we started when I first joined there. That's where I work. Everyone in the audience, and Matt was involved in my first one. I think we did 80. Then the year after we did 130, and this year we did 300 people. And
Hmm.
so we were leading up to it, and Maria Pergolino, who's an executive in residence for us, been around. I mean, her and Matt and team at Marketo invented lead nurturing, lead management, all of these things that stayed true for a long time. And
Yeah.
she had a panel and a thing we call a council, which is a workshop. Matt was in one of them as well. And about so okay, and then we started at scale we hired Christina McMillan, who I used to work with as a go-to-market AI EIR, and she starts bringing use cases to the table. So she
Yeah.
starts either having Zooms with just my team or councils like these virtual webinars and bringing people on. And um, we're like, Maria, about 4 weeks before Summit, is like, holy shit, I got to change everything. And
Yeah. Yeah.
because, like you said, it was 9 months, but then the boulder started rolling downhill. The game
Yeah.
literally flipped. And like
Yeah.
if you're not careful, like Maria's very careful, she's like, we're talking about the wrong stuff. So she flips
Yeah.
the script completely. She goes and gets new speakers for her council, which is a workshop. She had David Boscovich, like who's a founder from Clava. We're going to have him on the show. This guy, he calls it the deconstructed go to market. Amazing stuff. Not just AI, just how he does things. Uh, we had yeah, a bunch of folks. One speaker was from Clay, from Tavis, which is a portfolio company of ours that does video AI. I mean, just like we got to change. And for her, it's not just tech. It is like we're in a market where you have to stand out. And that to me was indicative of like my change, right? We were calling it internally midlife crisis. Matt, you and I started to pick it up months before that. But the funny thing is, guys, so Matt is my second example. So Matt is always sort of ahead of the curve. But you started as CMO, you kind of stand things up. You have a lot of
Yeah.
foundational things, and you did have AI. You do have it. You had
Yeah.
things
Sure.
packed.
We're a Clay customer. Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course.
So
Yeah.
we had Matt come on to that first council that Christina puts together. And then, he does a great job, whatever. But there was, I think, two other folks on there, right? And then you're like, oh no. I
Yeah. For sure. I mean, well, anybody, if they compare what they're doing with AI to David, is like, oh
yeah.
God.
Oh yeah, Bosco.
Oh God. I brought a super soaker to a gunfight.
Right, right. And so I talked to Matt, it was like what? Like the Tuesday after you had seen this, and you're like, dude, I'm like, fuck this. This weekend I built what, 4 or 5 personas in, the AI personas of all my buyers, and now I'm running every web page, everything we're building through the personas for their feedback. So like the good news is once you realize, holy crap, like the game changed overnight. It took Matt 4 days to be in the game. And then the second
Yeah.
part, which I've noticed for all guys like you, not just you, but everyone, once you break the ice, it's on.
It's just downhill from there. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it's the age of the go to market hacker. It is. And I know people are going to, we have go to market engineer, we have all these things, but like it is the go to market hacker. We get to hack. You guys get to have fun again. You're exploring. You're creative. You're doing new things. You can do things that you've always wanted to do. You can do things you never thought of before. So I know this is all we can go more in examples, but it's happening. But you changed your game in 4 days.
Here's what I'll say. Like, I think this is the best analogy for what I've seen, which is like there was a moment in time where we were all on a BlackBerry, we were on a flip phone, and like Apple was like, no more buttons, right? Like, or there's like an on off button, whatever, but like no more buttons. Like it's, here you go. And for people who are, in their teens and 20s, they just like picked up this thing and they're like, bing, 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 this all makes sense to me. But there were people for years who were like, just kind of trying to work their way around it because they were like, no, this is how you do a phone. You do a phone like that's how you do a phone. And slowly but surely people figure it out. And they're like, oh, okay, I get it. What I've seen is like there is this young generation of marketers who are like, AI, this makes sense to me. I know how to manipulate it. I know how to ask it questions. I'm asking it like life quality questions. Should I go on vacation to Barcelona or should I go on vacation or should I buy a motorcycle or whatever, right? Like they got it like that. And some of us who are so used to the way the game was, we were just kind of like, do I treat this thing like Google and then it gives me answers? Like, you think about like buyers in the 2010s who are like best marketing automation system. And like Google would be like, okay, it's like Marketo, Eloqua, HubSpot, like here's your options. And I think that's the way a lot of us approached AI initially was like best solution for email, get my emails more conversion, whatever that was. And there's like this shift that you sort of break through, which is like you realize that like if you just start talking into it like a person, like I started my journey building these AI agents that were my personas by going, hey, I want to build AI agents that mimic my persona. What do you need from me in order to do it? Which like seems like the simplest thing on the planet, but like that's not how we traditionally interact with web applications like Google. Like we just like type in words and it sort of fills in the rest for us. Here, you're like, God, I wish I could do it, but I don't know how. Well, ask it how. Like ask OpenAI, like, how do I make a custom GPT? It'll be like, here's all the instructions. And it'll like, maybe it'll show you code and all the stuff. And you're like, I'm not a developer. That doesn't make any sense to me. How do I just feed you information that's going to make a custom GPT? And I'll be like, oh, cool. Just do this. Right. Like, and I think people are like, well, I don't know. So I can't really get started. I'm going to waste a bunch of time. Like you got to talk to it like it's a person. And I know this is like the most elementary. There's people who are listening to the show and they're like, yeah, duh, dude. Like, yeah, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. And like, but like, this is to me was one of the biggest breakthroughs. And I'm comfortable being vulnerable enough to say like, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And like, I just started by saying, well, if this thing knows so much, I might as well just ask it how to do it. Ask it, what does it need from me in order to do this type of work? And that was my big breakthrough, and things just started happening faster from that. And then I started, to Craig's point, once I had built these things, I was like, what is the best way for me to receive information from it so I can make changes that have impact on what I'm doing? Whether that's content creation, web page creation, a marketing plan, or whatever. And I asked it, what is the best way for you to give me actionable insights so I can change it? And it was like, great, here's what I would recommend. You give me the information. Each persona will tell you what they like, what they don't like, and what you should change. And I was like, perfect. I don't care so much about what it likes, although, like, I don't know, I guess I'm a human being. And some of my employees are, so they want to know that they did do some good work. But it's the things that they would change about it that is the most impactful, right? And then what I'll do now is I'll just go in and I'll say, hey, what have I not thought of that I can do with these? And it'll be like, here's 10 things that you can do with this. So like, I think we're all waiting for people to tell us what to do. And that's been a sort of way information's been disseminated to marketers for years, like whether that was, thought leadership that was put out by different marketing brands on how you use their platforms or how you, build a plan around utilizing their platforms. And so you're just like, yeah, HubSpot, Marketo, tell me how to use this. What's the best way to build lead scoring? What, you tell me, and then I'll go do it. And now you can ask this stuff, these questions. And, this was not true with the early models that they were putting out. It spit back a bunch of gobbledygook or whatever. But today, I mean, I'm just on the $20 a month version. Like, I'm not even on the most expensive tier by any stretch of the imagination. But it can now become like a real advisor to you. And like, if it's bad, I think our inclination is to X out of the tab and be like, well, that was bad. click out of it. If it's bad, you just go, that information sucks. I don't know what you're thinking about. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm looking for stuff that looks more like this. And it'll be like, okay, I got it. Yeah, I screwed this up. And here you go.
yeah, yeah. Can I just I that you were ranting so well, and by the way, it's very actionable. Even you were going through your story, but like today we did a thing where we have a new event type, which is a go to market AI lab. Think of like a hackathon, and like they were playing with it, and now I'm going to be like, no, just ask it. How can we
Yeah.
solve this problem? Yeah, brilliant. By the way, so I did have a funny story because I was wondering when you were talking about the phones, if you were talking about me. I don't think so, but
No, no.
I was speaking at Sales 2.0. I don't know if you remember that. That was years ago, and I was up doing my thing, and my wife doesn't literally does not understand that when I'm not home that I'm actually working and really hard,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And
I know
so
this.
she'll quadruple call, and it's always during like a key Zoom, or in this case, a keynote. So she's blowing me up, and it's like it's vibrating on the thing, and I just had to say, you know what, guys, I apologize, but my BlackBerry, are you? Yeah, my BlackBerry is blowing up, and I put it down, and people laughed. I get off stage, I look at the Twitter feed because back then it was like events were all Twitter feed shit. And
Yeah.
Jill Rowley writes, "Did he just say BlackBerry?" Everyone had iPhones then. Of course, I didn't. And then it was this amazing string of like, I think he did. And then everyone was just putting pictures of ridiculous Blackberries. Anyway, I crushed myself per the usual on that one. And I should have had an iPhone. So I'm a laggard, but now I'm not a laggard on this one. I'm just,
No.
but that was a funny interjection. Okay, so I had one other thought. So let's actually talk through your use cases now. Okay, so one, you've built personas. What app? What horizontal app did you build them in? ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Okay, so you built them in ChatGPT, and then right now, what are the use cases you're running through that, or are there new use cases that I don't know about that you're using your AI for? Go.
So primarily content edits, right? Like in all forms, right? So whether it's email, whether it's landing page, whether it's actual web page, ebooks, case studies, everything goes through it. You know, I've got a bunch of people on the marketing team that are constantly asking me for my edits on things, and I just run it straight through that. And honestly, I would say 9 times out of 10, but I'm just going to take it a step further. Like 999 times out of 1,000, it
You're
hits the mark.
ramping it up. So it's a
Yeah, it's just hitting the mark, and it's like it's the stuff that we all the weeks get long and you get tired. It's like the stuff that you should know, and you're just like, oh my god, I don't know how I didn't see that. It'll be like you should add social proof here.
I'm just glad Sam didn't interject with for the audience what Matt is to at this time. Okay, so the 9,999. Yeah, okay, that's really cool, don't you think? I mean, that
Yeah, yeah.
there's serious. I wonder if you can equate. I'm trying to think like now these days, just to bring home the amount of time, resources, but pain. Like there's so many things in marketing where like so marketing will get just drilled if there's one thing that's not, everyone thinks of like typos. I'm not even thinking about that, although if you do that, that's bad. But like if something doesn't come out polished, despite all the things that marketing does, you'll get crushed. And so you
Hmm.
live in this perpetual stress, right? Like someone runs a blog post, even though you want someone else to do the blog post and it goes through 10 revs, you're still going, fuck, I don't know. Like, and you're looking to, right?
Yeah,
And so now your speed, so like there's a real pain, there's a real time and resources thing.
yeah.
That's one. And then there's like a peace of mind thing where it's just a little less stressful on everyone. Although I would argue so many people are creating, whether it's internal documents, everything. Like everyone's using it now and doing better. It's and someone will probably, if we cut this one, Sam, someone will comment, well, what people that are just doing Chat GPT suck or whatever, and that is
Yeah.
true. This is about this is you're still have a human element to it. You're just going a million times faster.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest struggle that I had was, when these things first started rolling out, people were like, oh, I'm going to write all my content with it,
Yeah,
right? And then people did that. And that was the thing is you knew it. You could smell it coming from a mile away. Fun fact about the city I live in, Foster City. It is illegal to smoke cigarettes in Foster City. So
what? Is
when,
that even
yeah,
legal in this country?
uh, I mean, apparently this Foster City is a prison. Although in prison, smoking is legal. No, but like as a result, if someone is smoking in Foster City, regardless of where it is, you can smell it. Like you can
Yeah,
just
yeah,
smell it, right? And that's the same with AI created content for the most part. Our boy David at Flat Files got some thoughts on this, but like you run content through just like ChatGPT and you're like, write me a blog post that's about this. And like the form and function of it is just it's the same all the time. So the thing, you can get around this with some stuff when you're creating custom GPTs and like everybody needs to create a custom GPT. Everybody needs to create a custom GPT. And if you want to know how to do it, like just ask it. Just ask it, how do I
that's
create a
see,
custom
I love
GPT
that.
here?
I love that clincher on your shit. That is great.
Yeah.
That's
And
brilliant.
the thing is once you do that, like you've run like all the content that you have through it, all the website, you can run transcripts from sales calls on it. And then it's like it's going to think in your it's going to create content in your voice a little bit more. I will say it still always has the same structure, which is problematic, but then you can say things to it like, hey, this is kind of the typical structure. I like blog posts from these companies. Here's a link to all their blogs, mimic this.
Yeah.
And it'll start to change the structure around that. Now, if you have a technical blog, you're going to struggle with like terminal screenshots and stuff like that. And you're going to have to bring that stuff into it. But that's more of like a human in the loop, where like the design elements you'll bring there. So there you go. But I think the kind of the next phase of this project is to bring this custom GPT and these custom AI agents into our Slack so that like if our BDRs are like, hey, I'm going to prospect into Craig, who just so happens to be the technical co-founder of this company, evaluate what I'm sending to this person and tell me what are the aspects that I'm missing, what am I not emphasizing and I should be, what's this person's tolerance for marketing hyperbole, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so number one, this is a personal ask. Can you make me one of the personas? Because you made me think of that when I was a technical founder. So, like, can I be the technical founder there? Name it Craig, the technical founder, and just do pictures of me eating um, sloppy joes.
Hoagies?
Yeah,
Oh.
um,
I sure could if you'd like that. Yeah, Craig's
I'd
the
really like
technical
that. I've
food.
always, honestly, guys, I'm just going to lay this out here. I've always wanted to be a persona because I've been jealous. It's always like Julie, the technical, the DevOps engineer. It's like, what about Craig? What about
Yeah.
Craig, Matt? Let's just do it.
I can't tell you how many people I say that your name is Craig, and they're like, "Do you mean Greg?" And I'm like, "I don't. There is a male name that's very popular in the United States, and it is Craig with a C."
What? People, I mean, man, that sucks because I don't want my friends to have to deal with it. I've been dealing with it my whole life. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
it's nuts. Okay,
Yeah.
so the second, the number one use case I'm seeing, which is like now, I think I'm gonna say this: account research using sales SDR realm. But by the way, even marketing is account research pre-call
Mm-hmm.
during call. Like that's actually table stakes now.
For sure. I
True.
mean, I had people. Yeah, I was at SaaStr this week, and I had SaaStr. It's a great event, but it's also an event that like everybody hacks. Right? They're like, I'm hacking the show. Oh, does that mean you don't have a booth and you're here to sell to all the vendors who are trying to sell their products? It's not like that. No, it's exactly like that. But go ahead. The number of vendors who came and they're like, I built this great thing. And I'm like, oh, cool. Tell me about it. Yeah, we use AI
Oh,
so we can prep your salespeople
yeah.
with information about the person that they're talking to and their company before they're calling. It arrives in their inbox like 30 minutes beforehand. I'm like,
Oh,
no fucking way, man. That's unreal. I've only heard about it 10,000 times. So, like, yes, it is absolutely table
yeah,
stakes.
but my point would be like what I would have, like if I was at this, and I want to go back to the hacker thing because I think I figured out my persona is
Yeah. Hacker.
black hat hacker, Craig.
Oh,
It, dude, security companies out there, I am your persona for black hat hacker. Okay, but dude,
yeah.
no, my point is like, yeah, if you can't build an app for account research because you could do it right now in Chat GPT and do it killer yourself, right?
Totally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like, and so, when we're doing we have a thing called demo days and we'll bring in two
Mm-hmm.
vendors a week. And Mark on my team, who's like he's the check against my, crazy instincts, but he'll always say, we need to ask them, like, how does this compare to Chat GPT or whatever, Perplexity or whatever app you're doing. That's really important because a lot I'm seeing. Did you go to that guy Antonio Garcia's thing at our summit? No, you missed that one, right, Matt? Or did
I
you?
did miss it. Yeah. I
Dude,
missed it.
yeah, he's built his entire sales platform on copy.ai. And it's all stuff that we've heard of before. I mean, it's nuts. We got to have him on the show. You'll love this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, these guys are doing crazy stuff. And so yeah, account research to me is like you're actually negligent if you're not at least trying. And by the way, if you have a
Mm-hmm.
packaged app that's been use that to, I mean, it's probably doing really well. I mean, it's just, the
Sure.
idea that you can't because you don't have something isn't true anymore. And
No.
and as Jake Dunlap was saying, like, this stuff's infinitely better than Google. I mean, like you're just
Mm-hmm.
not going to get anywhere. Okay, so I think account research is now the full blown table stake. So if and that's something that definitely I've seen now over and over, and I'm seeing more and more people come to market and like not come to market, come out and say, hey, like we're doing this account research stuff and it's blowing doors off of anything we've done before. Think about
Yeah.
like when we were doing one-to-one ABM campaigns back, what, 4 years ago, 5 years. Like if we had that at our fingertips to go custom craft personalized campaigns, I mean that's just a huge win.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm definitely I'm big. I think this is I think these kinds of things are great stuff. It's also really great for the buyer. I also think I learned a lot from Jake because he surprised me because he's so technical. But this is Jake Dunlap,
Yeah.
whose episode will come out at some point. Like when I think you or I asked him, like, oh, what is like, what's that thing that a tactic that works? He's like training, and we're like, wait, what? Because he's got so many widgets he's created, but he's right. Like if you this is where the humans have to be trained with the business acumen to be able to do that account research and then do something with it that's relevant and meaningful. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I actually sometimes I do wonder if it's worse
Mm-hmm.
if you try and it's a terrible try. um, and then one last side note, and then I have another question for you. But I did get a LinkedIn message today that said it was great to meet you at the Winning by Design AI Summit. They had it last week. I couldn't go, or this week. I wasn't there. So my question to you guys,
So they didn't meet you.
no, and
Mm.
it's in person. I looked at him, and I wrote initially I wasn't there, and then I deleted it. Why would I do that? But should I?
Yeah. No.
Okay, let it go. Um,
Yeah. Be like, no, or maybe have some fun with it. Oh, yeah. I wasn't there at the Winning by Design thing, but did we meet at insert like tawdry CD,
Ooh,
terrible place
making
to be
another
seen?
yes,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Man, that would be amazing. No.
Oh, let me get off. Let me get off something that I did a few times at SaaStr, which I'm notorious for. I generally think of myself as a nice guy, but at trade shows, I do turn into a little bit of a not quite a Bond villain. Maybe if like Bond was an animated cartoon on Saturday mornings for children, which is like people will come up to me and go, "Hey, do you know where this stage is?" I'll be like, "Oh my God, yeah, it's right there. It's just on the other side of
What?
this," and it's
That
never where it is.
Oh man, what is the matter with you?
It's my favorite thing to do. It is my absolute favorite thing to do. And if the more panic they are, like, oh my gosh, I'm late to something, the more I just really bask in the glory
Yeah,
of
but
it.
why do you feel the need to wrap up these people? Is it because they should just be? Why are they asking you when you're a booth guy? Is that the deal?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm insulted by the question. Like, I'm at Target, I'm wearing a red shirt, and they're like, hey, excuse me, like, where's the nail polish remover? I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just over here, right next to sporting goods. Um, no, it's not because of that. It's just, I just think it's hilarious and it's evil. And
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
yeah.
Oh man, I thank you for that. I know I could sense a cut. That's mean. I do. You know, I I do that on occasion. If I feel like someone, but I typically feel like that person deserves to learn a lesson.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that. There's a part of me that just my brain wanders and sees them like
Oh,
they've now
yeah,
arrived at like the food trucks instead of a stage, and they're like, really? Like
oh,
amongst the free popcorn? Like what? They're going to present here?
oh my god, man, that is.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
so anyway, yeah. But when I was young, I did a lot of. I mean, I was young. I didn't like work. You know, when I got out of college and I'm working, I was like, this. You know, this kind of sucks. So one,
Totally.
I ate people's lunches out of the refrigerator.
Yeah, that I'm shocked by because that is a choice.
Oh, well, what do you mean it's a choice? Of course, I wanted it was
Well,
good. I didn't think they were going to eat it.
that's wild to me. Like
You
I
didn't.
direct somebody to the wrong location. They're just going to be like, "Oh, somebody told me the stage was here," and they'll be like, "Who the fuck told you the stage was here? It's over there," and they'll direct them to the right place. But if like you've just housed somebody's ham and Swiss, and they're like, "Oh my god, I'm starving," and they're like, "The fuck." My food is. Did somebody eat my food? Did you
Yeah,
leave the rest so that just the sandwich was missing, or did you
yeah.
just eat their baby carrots?
Oh no, I didn't leave anything. I would just grab it and eat it.
Just the whole thing.
By the way, I did that even when I was a co-founder of a company. I was the leader of the team, and I mean, of the company. I was still eating.
How big though? How big of a team? Like,
Well, a
is it like a
tippet.
5 people and
No,
like it's obvious?
a tippet. There was hundreds, and people would have that stuff in there. And I just eat it. I got caught one time, and the dude had, I guess, ordered it via like a Gold Belly type thing. It was he had gotten H&H bagels from New York, which is the greatest. And I saw it. I saw the cream cheese and the lox in the refrigerator and the bagels right there. So I just started eating them. The guy just walks in, and I'm like, dude, you got to taste these bagels. He's like, those are my bagels. And so anyway, but there's, I mean, what's he going to do about it? You know, I mean, he complained to HR and whatever. And uh, it's like,
Yeah. Can you imagine the human resources professional who is fielding a complaint? Craig ate my lunch. And they're just like, I went to HR school and got certified and did all this just so that I could deal with people eating each other's lunches.
yeah,
Holy shit.
I know, man. That's now looking back, it probably wasn't that cool. I definitely don't do that anymore. Just as a heads up. Um,
Here's the thing. I have not gotten over my mean streak of directing people to the wrong place. So, I mean, you're a more evolved person than I am.
yeah, that I think there's a lot to it. So, but similar to this, I also this is bad, everyone. I just want you to know I've learned a lot. I was young. I used to go on people because nobody would lock that. Now you like lock your computer right away, but back then, so I used to go on other people's computers
Oh,
and send them emails, or I would schedule meetings. So like My first job, I would go on my boss's computer. There was this crazy New Yorker we work with, just loud and whatever, and just I would schedule him with our boss, and I would write in my cube, just come in and say I'm here. And this guy though was so crazy, he would fall for it every week, dude. And we'd just be sitting there in our cubes and just listen to him walk in. He'd be like, "Peter, I'm here for our meeting." He's like, "Dude, we don't have
Oh
any
my God.
meetings." Go,
Oh
"Rose,
my.
God damn it, you did it again. You got me again." It was like, I mean, it's so bad. Everyone, please don't.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
at
Yeah,
a at a
Did you watch Fight Club and decide that Project Mayhem was like a perfect scenario for your work environment? What
yeah,
the fuck?
I
I
know.
know what the movie poster is this week.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh,
nice.
At a past job, we were looking to hire somebody, and
here we go.
I put together a fake resume and a fake LinkedIn profile, and applied to the job and got an interview.
No, you didn't.
Nice. Way to go.
And
Way to
then
go.
the person got on the call and was like, why are you in this interview?
Oh wait, you went
Get out
to
of
the
here."
interview?
It was a virtual interview.
Oh man,
And you just
yeah,
attended.
you went pretty far on that one, man. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, look at you getting in the game. I like that. All right, that was it.
That's yeah.
Yeah, that okay. So okay, so a couple
So
other.
now that you shouldn't trust the transaction because it's being co-hosted by two fucking evil people and a terrible human being as a producer.
Well, by the way, I'm going to say this. Like that was a long time ago. Um,
Sure.
the so I think I'm in the clear. Here's the thing, dude. This is going
The
to come
statute of
out.
limitations on that is definitely
Yeah,
eclipsed.
and now let's just say the evil activity you just partaked in this week, 3 weeks away, this thing comes out. That person
Yeah.
you sent to the wrong side of Saster, it knows who you are, dude. And
Yeah, for sure.
they're going to see you confess to this crime, and it's like it's really interesting. I'm hoping for fireworks. Let's just put it that way. Okay,
Yeah,
so,
at least 2 dozen people this week. I'm not joking.
yeah, Jesus, 2 dozen. Just to be clear, 2 dozen's a lot, man. That is
Yeah, I know. I was doing it twice an hour while I was there, like
twice an
without a doubt.
hour.
Yeah, because I was moving through the show, like some at the booth, some just in the hallways.
Dude, you should build an AI agent that
Hmm.
misdirects people, and when they ask you, be like, "Oh, no problem. Here's the Saster AI agent directory.
Hmm.
Just go
Yeah,
ask it." Yeah, you could scale yourself and go from 2 an hour to maybe 10, 15 an hour. You can even put up like a little kiosk with that in the front, just misdirect
yeah,
all over the place. Man, that's crazy. Okay, couple things though that I also sort of realized. I didn't go to Saster, but also, heard a lot of stories about the meetups and all these other things. And, we just had our summit. Sounds like the Winning by Design event went really well. Uh,
yeah,
so events are generally speaking, events are back, but as long as you bring like-minded people into an area where they can, learn, there's and have sort of peer relationships built, either new or caught up. But here's the other reason why they're working so well. There's a ton to learn right now. So it goes back to the original
yeah,
part of the show, is that towards the like I was traveling a ton at the end of Topo, and then sort of we get out of COVID and it was like events are back, but then you would go to events and it was essentially a replay of what happened
yeah,
before. But now it's like, no, you want to go. I mean, I bet like if you're doing webinars on AI in a particular vertical or space, like you're killing it. So we have a portfolio company, Clarity, they're a
hmm,
startup. Dude, they got
yeah,
700 signups to their AI summit that they just had this week. So same week, not the same brand level of Saster. Well, Saster was huge, but you know what I mean. Like, and
yeah,
still able to because folks in accounting and CFOs want to understand how AI is affecting their world. So you had incredible people there, ready to learn. So like right now, if I had one thing to tell everyone, look, if you're, don't do old, do new. Everyone wants to know new. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
And Matt and I use this term, like, I'm telling you right now, folks, shock and awe. Like, I know you want to be
Hmm.
practical, go for it, but like shock and awe works because we need to be shaken. Like when I told Boscovich and Antonio like what they did to me to change me, they broke me. Like when I saw what
Yeah.
they were doing, I was broken. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to be over the hill. We all need, like, you gotta, you want to, you have to mix practical with shock and awe, but you got to show people the possibilities, man, because like, even you, Matt, you're like, wow, Boscovich, that was way far down. And then you're like, no, hell with that. I'm doing what he did. Right. So like, uh, so we were talking about events being back. I think people crave human interaction, and if you could capture a persona or a group, you were going to be successful. You'll be even more successful now because people are on the learning curve big time.
Yeah. Yeah.
True story.
Yep.
Okay, and then the only other thing I am something I think we need to watch is LinkedIn. So you and I have been big fans of people using LinkedIn, and I still think it's the platform of the platform. I'm still hearing people on DMs, killing it on DMs, content, all working its magic there. But then I'm also starting to hear a lot of pushback. Now, I'm just going to tell you guys, here's my thing.
Mm. Okay.
When everyone started complaining about Facebook content, the thing blew up into a multi-trillion dollar like, I do wonder in Reddit, like it just got ugly in there. It's huge now, right? Like, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like everyone's complaining about LinkedIn. Um, but like once the content flywheel starts going, even with bad, it just goes, it grows bigger and bigger. So I started this like, let's watch it. But my theory here is that that's actually good for LinkedIn.
It's good for LinkedIn, but I think ultimately what's challenging about like LinkedIn driving a bigger audience or like more engagement in posts and comments and whatnot is LinkedIn is like a sort of the content that's created on LinkedIn is generally speaking inherently a positive, and negativity attracts eyeballs, and that's just a fact. It's like, people can't draw themselves away from social media platforms where people say outrageous things, and there's a lot of sort of negative back and forth on it. And I don't see that coming to LinkedIn. There's like pockets of it at times when like politics comes up, but generally speaking, more often than not, people are like, dude, why are you having this conversation here? Just like go have it in somewhere else. And so I think that like that, you know, some things won't change because of that. And I think if LinkedIn turns into sort of a social media platform where people are arguing with each other a lot, like I think it would actually backfire and people would spend less time there.
All
Because
right.
part of why it's valuable is like you read, you see something, you like it, you learn it, and you move on, and you're kind of not inclined to comment on it. It's part of the reason why so many people, and you and I used to talk about this all the time, the comment section is,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm out on the
or
comment.
you
Yeah.
know, you go girl,
Well, here's
or
my
boy.
here's what been is still my experience. So I'm in LinkedIn all day because I love the place. But
Yeah.
you get two scrolls on the feed, me.
Hmm.
And even though a lot of it just there's things that, I would say there's a bunch of stuff in there I wouldn't click on, but it does do a good job. It always surfaces every time I go in. Like I went in today to respond to a DM and then got rattled because there was a really great
Mm.
post. Maybe it was Albro. I mean, and so I'm still, I don't know. I think my theory is going to come true. I always the algorithm will get better. It keep getting better. And you're right though. Like right now, it's like you put up something, you get a bunch of prayers and all that kind of stuff, and the thing goes up. But like there's what right now, if you combine the fact that we've got a bunch of growth hackers starting companies right now and on LinkedIn creating really cool shit.
Yep.
And then two, just like a lot, there are sort of, everyone complains about the cheesy creators, but there's really good ones happening out there. Like there's just still, you have to two scrolls and it's got to pop it up, but there's really been really great stuff. And for the newsletter, I mean, I'd send Sam LinkedIn posts still, but yeah,
Yeah.
but acknowledged. Let's just watch. Let's see how it
Yeah.
goes. But DMs and those things, and still working the LinkedIn sort of communication channels is also, in my opinion, still going really well for people. And,
Yeah, for sure.
and if
Without a doubt.
people ask me, I'd say you beat the shit out of LinkedIn right now, because it's an awesome way to get your word out to folks. Okay, so just some things I've been thinking, because and why did I bring up LinkedIn? Because there was still a lot of really good presentations and information that people should not forget about on LinkedIn. And how to use LinkedIn for, Albro had a
Yeah.
good go to market founder thing on that. And then I ran into this app that a bunch of the growth hackers are using, Hey Reach. Do you know that one? Like they're
I don't.
using it. Jordan Crawford, I think, mentions it in.
I saw Jordan this week at
Yeah, I
Subster.
did
He was
too. I
doing
did
his
too.
thing.
That dude's just awesome, and he's everywhere now. Okay, cool. I got one more for you, because you
Go.
guys. So I've been watching your guys' videos. So Sam and Matt for Duplo
Oh
Cloud,
yeah.
and they're good because they're really conversational. But people still make high gloss, overproduced videos, not you. So I feel like yours is the better model. I think people call. What do you think? Like they smell a rat when they see it, like it's just too cheesy, scripted, and over rehearsed.
I think so. I also think, I mean, there's like real terminology for this, but you kind of cut me off guard. But there's what I will say is there's like there's an authenticity that comes along with video that looks like that works really well. But there's a weird like moment where you can't do that anymore. So your brand gets too big, and when you make it like sort of on a cheaper camera with low production or whatever, that like if Salesforce put out videos like what I put out at Duplo Cloud, people are like, why are they trying to come across as so authentic? You know what I mean? So like there's a level that you get to as a brand where you actually have to put on the polish because people expect it to be polished, both the guests, right, as well as like the audience. So I couldn't tell you exactly where the line exists, but I was at a dinner. I was at a dinner last night that Sydney Sloan put on that, like, first of all, just absolutely blew my mind. And
Yeah, she was going.
Scale
She
was
was going high end.
yeah,
Yeah, we sponsored that.
Scale was a co-sponsor of it, so it was just absolutely incredible. But Mandy Dollywall, the CMO of Nutanix, was there, and I was like, it's weird. You have these things that you sort of remember randomly, like I don't know, the first time you ate ketchup or whatever. I don't know, but like I can remember the day that she announced that she was going to Nutanix. I don't know why because I don't know her, but I can just remember it had like lots of likes and comments, and I was like, oh yeah, she came from Boomi, I think, to Nutanix. And I was like, oh, I should learn more about her and like look at after some of the content that they create at Nutanix. And like, it is so well produced. It is like, it's got a level of gloss to it. And like Nutanix, obviously gigantic, successful company, but not at the same scale as like, as Salesforce, but like super successful. And their stuff is really polished and highly produced. They also, I was watching videos from their user summit, and oh my god, it looked amazing, man. Like just incredible. The production there was incredible. So
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know where that line is. They're obviously a public company, but
I
like
got it.
there is a point in time where you've got to be like,
Yeah.
okay, we've got to go full production now.
You know what? I'm going to take it back. That was helpful. Here's the thing, and this will not be an insight for everyone. You're going to say no duh. Do people still say no duh? No, they never do.
I do a lot, actually. I
Okay.
like saying it.
Excellent. It's just got to be entertaining. Now that could be
Mm-hmm.
educational entertaining. It could be insightful entertaining. It could just be gonzo like us entertaining. But yeah, but um, it it's not about the camera quality and production per se. It's about being entertaining, and if you can afford it, you should make it better. And then, but it's the content. At the end of the day, it's the content. But you're right. So you could still be like, is her name's Mandy Dollawall? I don't know her. I gotta meet her. But like, so she's creating really
Just amazing, by the way. It
beautiful,
was
yeah,
so great.
beautiful content, but still interesting.
Yeah,
There's just too many times it's beautiful content and corny, in my opinion.
totally,
Yeah, yeah.
totally. Yeah.
Sam was breathing, so I think he wants to say something. Sam, oh,
I was I was just gonna say, I think in terms of finding that line between underproduced or overproduced and cheesy, I think Testbox
oh yeah,
is a really good example. They've got a James there has a podcast series out, and it's very well produced and
yeah.
it's insightful.
Oh, let me
but
guess.
also
You're the
looks good.
producer on that show too.
No, I wish.
I'm joking.
I just filmed with James this week. And fun
There you
fact,
go.
small world, Jordan Crawford walked in right after.
What?
Small world, there you go.
Tough act to follow.
All right, so by the way, this car that I have is a rental because my cars were stolen. Another story for another day. And so
I wish we would have just done the pod on the fucking Gone in 60 Seconds that happened at your residence.
There's certain things that can only happen to me, right?
Yes,
Just say it.
both of my cars were stolen.
Yeah, I mean,
And then I was there when your 10-year-old was like, I need to dust for fingerprints. Like, just unbelievable.
he's very concerned that you can understand.
Yes.
Actually, yeah, the 10-year-old's got some great lines. I'll just leave you guys with this. We went down to Palm Springs, and so I had the boys. We went out on the ATVs, and the twins, my older boys, were on the single ATVs, and then I had to take Koa, who's my youngest, 10 years old, in a multi-person because I have to drive, right? So I'm driving, and my boys are complaining that I'm going too slow. So I'm like, the hell with this. I start going fast. I go, follow me. And then I turn around, and the twins are gone. And I'm like, well, they'll catch up, right? I'm just going fast. I'm going through all these valleys. You do it out in the desert and whatever. And then Koa's like, hey, Dad, they're still not here, right? And so I call them, and it's not going through. We're in the middle of nowhere. There's nobody. Like, we come out of this little valley, and there's like nothing. I'm like, holy shit. So,
Yeah.
and now I'm just driving, and Koa, my youngest, is just yelling at me, Dad, you got us lost. And so I have to drive, though. He doesn't understand. I'm driving to find bars for my phone because they have a hotline at the ATV thing. It's only happened to me. So I finally get bars, and I call them. They're like, Mr. Rosenberg, like, where are you? I'm like, I mean, there's
In the
nothing.
desert.
And they're like, well, you got to go find the street signs or whatever, because they have these little signs. So I have to keep driving around, and he's freaking out and screaming and whatever. I find street signs with bars. I call them back, and they're like, okay, so look, here's the good news. You're in the park. I'm like, great. And they're like, so, and there's a way back. You're way out there, but you're in the park. I'm like, that's amazing. And then she's like, where are the other sons? I go, I have no idea. She's like, okay, listen, you got to go find them. You weren't supposed to lose them, whatever. And so, like, but I turn around and I go to Koa. I go, hey, buddy, so we're in the park. You having fun? And he goes, well, Dad, I'm lost in the desert with one bottle of water and no food. So how do you think I am? Amazing from a 10-year-old.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
crushed me. I went, okay, fair enough. Yeah. We had one bottle of water. He had no food. This is like out of the movies. And then I realized, I went back, we had dinner with a bunch of people, and I was like telling them the story, and I just watched the moms just go, wait, you had your kids and you got lost and you didn't have food or water and you couldn't reach anybody? I'm like, yeah, it's hilarious. They didn't find it hilarious. No,
Yeah, not funny. It's similar to how you're chaperoning children at Great America right now from a hotel parking lot.
yeah. Hopefully they're not tearing the place up, although I did just get a picture. All right, guys, good work. What did you guys think? That was the transaction? Anyone?
Boom. That was
I
the
think
transaction.
that was
Okay,
the
good.
transaction.
We did it. We did the transaction. Thanks, everyone.
We fucking did it.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of The Transaction. Craig and I really appreciate the fact that you've listened all the way to the end. What are you actually doing here? For show notes and other episodes, please visit us at thetransactionpod.com. Like and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other place you get your podcast from. Either you have walked away from your podcast device, or this is playing somewhere in the background. Someone in your house would really like for you to shut this off now.